It begins the way all great weekend stories do. A card check, a concrete warehouse floor, and a tiny paper cup of microwave meatball skewered on a toothpick. This is Costco, and at Costco, the samples are free. But how does it work? Who pays for those little bites of joy? It's a mystery for sure, but that's why today we're going to take a look at how Costco can afford to give out free samples. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History Food channel. After that, please leave a comment and let us know what other big box store marketing mysteries you would like to hear about. Okay, time to see what's really going on behind that little folding table at the end of the aisle. We can't talk about Costco samples without starting at the very beginning. Not just because that's a very good place to start, but because the idea of handing out free food to sell food isn't a Costco invention, not by a long shot. The first formalized use of free samples in retail is credited to soap salesman Benjamin T. Babbitt in the mid-1800s. That wascally Babbitt handed out free bars of soap on the street to prove that his product lathered better than the competition. And it worked. People soon caught on to the genius that was Benji's idea. And before anyone knew what was going on, free samples were everywhere. Free food samples really took off in the early 20th century at places like fairgrounds, carnivals, and county exhibitions. In-store food sampling began to gain traction in the 1940s and 50s, but it wasn't until the rise of supermarkets and big box stores that sampling as a sales strategy really exploded. Of course, lots of places may have handed out free samples, but nobody turned them into a cultural institution quite like Costco. So why do it? Why give out the free samples? Well, we've all seen it. That weird little alchemy where one free cube of cheese makes you drop $15 on an industrial-sized bag of cheddar snacks you didn't even know existed when you woke up that morning. But it's not magic. There is real science behind those free, tasty treats. First is something called reciprocity bias. Subconsciously, we feel an obligation to give back when we receive something, even something as small as a sweet and sour meatball. Then there's ownership bias. Sampling tricks your brain into feeling like you already own the product. You're more likely to buy it because you've already experienced it. In other words, since it's in your tummy, it may as well be in your freezer. Finally, free samples turn rational adults into snack-drunk zombies, shoveling 72-pack pizza rolls into their cart like it's the apocalypse. If something tastes good in the moment, logic goes out the window, which is to say, I like it, overrides, do I really need 400 mozzarella sticks? But you should also never underestimate the power of the smell. Ever walk into a Costco and smell sizzling sausage in the air like it's a damn street fair? That's no accident. That, my friends, is strategy. Costco opened its first warehouse in 1983 in Seattle, Washington. Founded by James Sinegal and Jeffrey Brotman, the store was built on a deceptively simple idea: sell high-quality goods in bulk at low prices, exclusively to members. In 1993, Costco merged with its main competitor, Price Club, and after that, it exploded in popularity. Even before the merger, however, Costco seemed to understand that people are way more likely to spend money when they're full, and a little high on sodium. That being said, it's unknown exactly when Costco started giving out free samples. The records are hazy, but it was sometime in the late 80s or early 90s. Either way, the idea was simple. If you try it, you'll buy it. And boy, did it work. Costco holds their sales statistics close to their chest, but anecdotal evidence from vendors and internal documents cited in interviews suggest that sales increases of 300 to 400% during the sampling period are not unusual. And products that perform well during sampling can be fast-tracked into more store locations, or even upgraded to prime shelf placement. Of course, Costco doesn't sample everything. They select products based on a few factors: new or seasonal items that people might hesitate to buy in bulk, items with strong flavor or smell, because smell is a powerful seller, and partner brands willing to invest in product promotion. You would think with such an increase in sales that Costco would only sample Costco products, but you'd be wrong. While Costco's private label, Kirkland Signature, does occasionally get sampled, most samples are branded products, and ones where the manufacturer foots part of the bill. That bill includes staffing prep and food costs. Costco may chip in on occasion, but for the most part, brands pay to be sampled. Why would they pay someone to give away their product for free? Well, some brands have seen a sampling boost of as much as 600%, and even if a customer doesn't buy the product right away, a sampling plants a seed. That's why you'll suddenly be craving BBGO dumplings at 11 p.m. 3 days later, and kicking yourself that you didn't buy them when you had the chance. If you've ever wondered why that nice person who handed you your free sample can't tell you what aisle the soda is in, it's because those tasteologists, if you will, don't actually work for Costco. You may be feeling a little betrayed by that news, but the truth is that they work for a dryly named entity called Club Demonstration Services. CDS, which is not to be confused with CVS, or the CDC, is actually an entirely separate company owned by the dryly named Advantage Solutions. And the free samples are really their department. They provide the reps, manage inventory, handle the logistics, and even work directly with product manufacturers. If you're wondering how much all that costs Costco, the answer is pretty much nothing. Most of the cost is absorbed by CDS, or the product manufacturers themselves. Costco's direct expense is minimal, and when you factor in the aforementioned psychological effects, the increased purchase likelihood, the higher cart values, and the return visits, well, they're more than worth it. Free samples are like edible ads, but way more effective, possibly because they come with a cool, tiny fork. Of course, there have been a few bumps in the road. Just like everything else, the COVID pandemic ruined our taste testing rituals when Costco was forced to suspend sampling. It was a necessary health precaution, and customers largely understood. Something still felt off. It was like Disneyland without churros, and Costco knew they had to bring it back ASAP. Today, Costco utilizes a hybrid system. Some staffed sample stations, some unattended grab-and-go style samples. But the effect is the same. Free food equals higher sales and happier shoppers. Costco may be the undisputed champion of free samples, but they're not the only player in the game. Far from it. Grocery chains like Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, and Safeway have all offered samples. In fact, Trader Joe's was once famous for its in-store sample station, with coffee and featured snacks. It was a cult favorite until the pandemic shut it down. And it's only respectful to take a moment of silence to mourn the loss of those mini Dixie cups of pumpkin spice coffee. Anyway, Whole Foods does demos regularly, but it varies by location and vendor. And you even get samples at ordinary restaurants and food chains. For example, ice cream parlors are a legend in the free sample biz. You know the drill, a little pink spoon, 31 flavors, and no shame. Heck, you could live a full life just off sample spoons at Baskin-Robbins and Cold Stone alone. Then there's Panera Bread. For a time, Panera gave out free slices of bread with every meal. Was it a sample? Was it just a free bonus carb? Nobody knows. But it felt like a sample, and it kept us coming back. Even fast food chains have tried sampling. Remember when Taco Bell handed out free Doritos Locos tacos during promotions? Okay, that's technically not a sample, but it's the same idea. Get it in your mouth, get it in your brain, and soon it's in your heart, or at least your stomach. Of course, Costco can't let the free sampling be a free-for-all. There has to be rules, so let's get to them. Number 1. Can you take more than one sample? Well, technically, yes. Legally speaking, you're allowed, and no one's going to stop you. But ethically, it's a minefield. The unwritten rule is 1 sample per person per lap. Sure, you can do a second lap, but if you linger too long and hover like a meatball vulture, you'll get the look. You know the one, because we've all gotten it at some time or another. Number 2. Did you have to buy something? The answer there is a resounding nope. Samples are free, and that's the point. In fact, contrary to popular belief, the people pushing the samples aren't paid a commission if you wind up buying the product. They're paid by the hour to bring you happiness. With that said, just know that if you don't buy it, chances are you will feel an intense urge to justify your existence by nodding thoughtfully and pretending to consider it as you walk away. Number 3. What if you lie? Some folks change clothes, wear disguises, or pretend to be new every time. Well, it doesn't work. They see you. And while the effort does demand respect, refer back to the first rule. You don't have to lie. You could have more than one sample. Number 4. Will they give samples to your kids? Well, starting in July of 2025, Costco instituted a new policy that states children must be accompanied by an adult to receive free samples. This is mainly to protect the company from liability with respect to kids who may have food allergies. And while not everyone is thrilled about it, it does make a certain amount of sense. So if the question is, how can Costco afford all the free samples that fill your belly on a Saturday afternoon? The answer is because they barely pay for them, and because they know it works. It's not just about sales. It's about the feeling you get when you walk through those giant doors and know you're gonna leave with at least one full meal made entirely of bites. Costco has built an empire on bulk goods, loyalty, and brilliant psychology, and the sample table is its unsung hero, the quiet conveyor belt of consumerism that powers the machine. So what do you think? And what's the best Costco sample you've ever had? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're at it, check out some of these other videos from Weird History.